Hey guys, it's Nakia. I'm going to start this video with another apology. This seems to be becoming a trend. I kind of have a bit of a cold at the minute, and so if my voice does not sound good at all, I apologise for that. It's just I am leaving home in like 3 days now, and so if I didn't do the audio for this now, I was going to have to do it whilst moving into my new room, which just did not sound like a good idea. Today we're going to be talking about style. As you probably guessed from the title of the video, art, style, blend, talk about style, kind of makes sense, I hope. Style's one of those weird words in the art community that people kind of like, everyone stresses about it way too much. I know there are many beginners who spend their entire time wondering like, I've got to create a unique style, I've got to learn how to make my own style. How the hell do I do that? And I know this because, until very recently, I was one of those. I'm not saying that I'm not a beginner anymore, I'm just saying that I'm stressing less about my style and more just worrying about, right, this is my art, which bits of it don't I like, how do I actually make this, blob look like a human being, rather than, I want this human being stylized in a particular way, I've got to learn just that style. So, if you go to my Instagram, you can probably scroll through and you'll see that my art kind of, before the pre-lockdown period, was a bit rocky and didn't really make a lot of sense. I would jump around between styles, I'd jump around between mediums. Not that you can't use different mediums, just like, I was using different mediums in the hope of getting a style based on the medium I was using, which is also kind of dumb. So it was whilst I was in lockdown that I discovered an art YouTuber called Drawing with Waffles. You've probably heard of her. She's, lots of subscribers. I cannot remember the count right now, but I will link her channel down below. And she does a thing where she has a sketchbook, and her sketchbooks are numbered, and she puts the dates on it, and she tries to fill a sketchbook. Not in a particular amount of time, just like, a sketchbook is what she draws in all the time. So I got myself a sketchbook, I decorated the cover, and I've not finished it yet, but basically any time I am bored, or not having bothered to draw, I will doodle in my sketchbook. I will doodle in my sketchbook when I'm watching YouTube, I will doodle in my sketchbook when I'm supposed to be doing homework. You get the idea. And between that and lots of art tutorials, I hope, you can be the judge of that, but I hope that I have improved my art slightly. But it was from getting that sketchbook that kind of made me go, no, it doesn't matter what style I'm in, let's just make these people look like actual people. Another thing that I think probably helped me develop a style, I'm not saying I have a designated style, but get my art to the somewhat consistent state it is in at the minute, was my multiple attempts to write a comic. So far this academic year, I have tried 3 different comic storylines to try and inspire myself to write a comic. I have not managed to write a comic because, quite honestly, drawing out the actual panels makes me want to fall asleep. One day I hope I will, maybe. It means I now have a plethora, I like that word, I have a very large number of own characters that I can, just draw and doodle whenever I feel like it. It's a low energy exercise, like, oh yeah, today I'm going to draw Oliver, I'm going to draw Portia, because I know what they look like, I don't have to think about it, I can just kind of draw them. And to be honest, drawing all the time, that's kind of what helps develop a style. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that drawing all the time is what will get you better at art, because obviously you have to be drawing the right things, but just going, yes, I'm going to draw this character because you can, helps a lot, because it gives you something to draw. And yes, obviously you spend time dedicated to anatomy and to shading and light techniques, all things which I'm quite bad at, but and I have done some anatomy work and things, and the sketchbook gives you a place to do that. It's like, oh, I want to fill a page, well, you know what, I'm just going to draw like a ton of male figures or a ton of female figures, and that'll give me something to put on this page. Like, having something to just, I want to doodle, I can just doodle, and it, it keeps the muscle memory up or something. I'm sure there's some scientific beneficial explanation, but for me it's just like, right, I'm going to draw stuff because I can. I think recently my work particularly hard to improve colour and rendering, which you'll see if you go to my page. I've gone from very flat drawings with usually quite dark lines to what I hope is much more, you know, I don't want to say realistic because they're not realistic, but rendered artwork. I'm not there yet on that, but it's something I've been working on, and so I would define my style these days by its coloured lines, its soft shading, that one weird thing I do with like the side eye, where they always look out to the side, and the lines I draw in the hair. And I think those are the main defining features of my style at the minute. So bearing in mind all the early points I made about my art, I started to draw over the exact same sketch, flipped to make the character look fit better in space, basically for composition reasons, and just changed slight certain elements that I wanted to evolve for this drawing. I think I draw pretty standard faces. There wasn't anything big I wanted to change on the face. So in terms of the character, they're very recognisably the same person, despite the styles being technically different, because the actual sketch and lines didn't change too much. I don't think I have a very recognisable way of drawing faces or drawing bodies or hands or anything, so that wasn't something that changed. But I did want to take this opportunity to explore some style elements that I have been thinking about including in my own art and never have, particularly the varyings that these as line art. I see so many artists where they have this beautiful line art that sits thicker, it points at joins, and it, you know, gives so much expression, and it's lovely, and I'm not sure I got there, but I tried. I also had a lot of fun with the more simple shading and highlights. I like the simple highlights, and to be honest, I want to get better at highlights on my own drawings, because while I'm getting there with hair highlights, the rest of the body is not looking so great, and I want to add more contrast into my drawings. I think if you were to turn them grayscale, they'd all look pretty flat, which is not really ideal. I also realised while doing this that I quite miss working with darker line art, because it just defines the shape so much better, and I feel like my characters are beginning to become a bit too soft, if there is such a thing. However, I was overall happy with how this came out. There's plenty of room for growth, and I want to develop it, but I think you can clearly see it's the same character in two quite different styles. Thank you so much for watching this far to the end of the video, listening to my dumb commentary, and if there is any key part of my style you think I've forgotten and not mentioned, comment down below and I'll, read through it and see what I think. But yeah, thanks for watching, bye.